Police think the rise in murders could come from drug arrests that were made back in June. Down 70 drug dealers from the 5th District.
Sorry, Rome, I had to cuss, but I done just about had enough. This just ain't adding up. We shooting at each other, but the police got us hand in cuffs. Problem is with you and me, cause we ain't got no unity. Oh, you say you soft flexing, but what you trying to prove to me? Couple $1,000 in a neck full of jewelry. That's cool, but don't get caught up in the foolery. Black on black rims on your black on black whip. Somehow black on black crime always comes into the pit. And that comes from that gun on your hip. You gotta protect yourself. You can't be looking like no clown. But somehow we gotta put these guns down.
The number of murders in Cleveland was up in 2000. There were 23 more homicides in the city last year.
Probably the most well-known murder is that of Emiliano Terra. Another murder happened on East 69th Street. 30-year-old Jessica Harrell was stabbed 65 times.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Let's Talk Cleveland, brought to you by Romeo. I'm your host for the day, Nancy Johnson. Our topic of the day is single parents. I'd like to introduce our guest, AJ.
How's it going?
I'm great, AJ. How are you today?
I'm okay. Feeling pretty good.
What are some of the challenges single parents face today?
I think one of the main challenges single parents face is the dads. They face a huge. They have a lot of. It's hard for them because they don't have a lot of examples to follow. To get it together. So I think the fathers have a huge challenge of just learning how to be a dad, and in turn that affects the mom.
Can you elaborate on that? Give us an example of what you mean?
Well, I can speak personally because if, with my own situation, I could say that by my baby's mother never having an example of a real man, ever being around her, she wouldn't know how to handle, a lot of the things that come about from having a child or whatever.
Because she didn't have a living example, you
Right.
believe that she doesn't really understand you as a
Right.
father?
Right. And then to go a step further, I don't have many examples or people to go to talk to. So how do I know how to deal with this woman and her emotions and the things she's going through?
How many examples of a productive father have you seen in your lifetime? Honestly.
Maybe 2.
Wow. How important is it to have both parents in the child's life, regardless of her mindset or childhood conditioning?
I think it's all important because a man can give things to his child that the woman can't. And in turn, the woman also gives things to the child that the man doesn't. And so when you miss one or the other, there's huge holes there. There's gaps. And I think until we kind of, get a seal on that could be, a problem. Because, maybe like with sons, I think the father and the mother are equally important because the son needs to learn a lot of things about how to be a man. But along with learning how to be a man, you have to have your mother around to learn not only how to love a woman, but, just a lot of things that fathers don't really teach a lot. Like, I'm probably not the best person to teach you how to do household things and stuff like that.
So realistically, both parents are very important to a child.
Important.
Okay. How many examples would you say in your lifetime have you seen of a productive mother?
I've seen quite a few, but the problem is that a lot of times they're not just productive because they're in a healthy situation. They end up learning it the hard way over years of struggling and being by themselves. And some fathers who really want to help the child and don't know how. And so you end up with females that are learned and forced to get into this role much harder than what it had to be.
Well, let me ask you this. What do you believe is a good father? Give us an example of what a good father is to you.
Well, three of the main qualities that I see that would make a father a good father would be, he would have to be first a protector, a good communicator, and a provider. And I say those are the main three because a protector, because that's his role in protecting his child, and especially for fathers who have daughters, because they have to show them what a real man is and what to look for and how to handle it. You know, you don't want some dude going upside her head or something. That's crazy.
Absolutely.
And then you have to be a good communicator, because I think the father does play the main role of the teacher, to me. Because he, you know, like with a son, you teach him how to keep a job, how to control your emotions, how to handle paying bills, how to handle a woman. You know, women are emotional. They hard to understand. My dad told me, don't try to understand a woman. If you love her, just deal with it. But I don't think that was the good advice. So, and then a provider, of course, because you got to provide for your family and they got to eat and whatever, you know.
Okay, is there a difference between raising a female child than a male child?
Yeah, I think there's a difference, but I don't think the differences separate whether or not they need both parents or one over the other. Because I think boys, maybe might be a little simpler, maybe. I don't know. I don't understand girls all the way, but
We'll go into more depths with that on our next show next week. But today I'd like to know, what are some of the challenges you faced as a young father?
Oh, man. A lot. To start from the top, I think my biggest challenge, and I've come to realize this more in recent times, in a lot of other young fathers, it was myself.
Interesting. Can you elaborate on that?
The reason that is because not too long ago, I was diagnosed, if you want to say it that way, with a condition called stinking thinking. So basically, when you're running around and you telling yourself, I can't, it's not going to work, it's not fair, this is not going to play out that way. I think sometimes it boils down to a point where the word regardless is the all-important word, because at the end of the day, regardless, the daughter or son is going to get hungry, is going to wear his shoes out, is going to go through something. So you have to start saying, that didn't work, I know there's another way to do it, I'm sure I can do it. And thinking positive, get yourself going to where you feel you can do it, and then you will. And sometimes we get discouraged, you get mad, this not going right, that's not going right, so that's not going to go right, and I'm not going to try it because I need it. And you like that.
I'm excited to hear you say that, because I'm a true believer in that stinking, getting rid of that stinking thinking. Mm-hmm. What would you tell a young man who, for the first time, with fear in his heart, he's going to be a father, and he's just got that letter in the mail from the county building that says, come down about your child support? What do you say to him?
Well, the first thing I would say to him is that's where I made one of my hugest mistakes. I got mad about the whole child support incident. And in the process of calling myself taking it out on my baby's mother, who did I hurt? My daughter, more than anybody. So the first thing is, no matter how unfair or upset it might seem, be a man about it, man up, go through with it. Just do what you got to do. And then from there, start looking for what you can do. And one thing I came to realize is that you have a problem and you have a solution. Sometimes your solution, which you know could work, is still something that's out of your reach. So what we got to do sometimes is not just think of the solution, but think of, how can I put myself in a position to realistically get to that solution? And so we'll beat ourselves down and say, well, the only way out is if I could get a good job and spend this money. But I can't get a job because I got a record. I keep trying, and I'm doing this and I'm doing that, and it's not going to work. I'm putting in applications. They're not hearing. I don't know what to do. So you got to think, okay, what can I do to put myself in that position? Maybe pursue some more education. Mm-hmm. Maybe work on getting the expungement. Whatever it is, it might seem like a long road.
So
but
set the goals,
something to work out.
long-term goals, and then break them down into short-term until they can reach it.
Until you can reach it.
I'm a true believer in what you're saying. Statistics have proven that our teen fathers make less than fathers who waited and married to have children. How do you feel about that? Or does that affect you at all?
Yeah, I think it definitely affects us. And I think that it's because we were so ready to mingle and do that we kind of got sidetracked that we got to have something established first.
We have a music artist coming on later on. How does music affect teen pregnancy?
Trey Songz, Lil Liquor. It's we got to just be more mature and make better decisions about what we doing. Maybe if that means, like a lot of times I noticed recently, I see babies 3-4 years old sitting with their mama watching rated R movies or listening to the same 2 Chainz I'm listening to.
What about that video of all the strippers? I mean, what are you saying to this teen boy who watches that? The first thing he's going to want to do is what?
Go see strippers.
And I'm not blaming rap music or any
strippers.
other music for teen pregnancy. I just want to know, does it have an effect on you as a young male? Did it have an effect on you becoming a teen father?
It definitely did. And the bad part is that we usually don't realize it till it's too late. So then when you sitting there and you got all these problems, you done fell into the stinking thinking, you done messed your whole situation. Now you realizing maybe if I hadn't been sitting back thinking about the strippers and valuing smoking kush and getting $1 more than what's really important, I maybe wouldn't have walked myself so far down this road where you didn't even realize it. And you done made it to a point now and you didn't even know you was there.
We have so many television shows now, so it's not just a certain race of teen pregnancy. We know that this is throughout America, period. What I'd like to do today is find out how can we avoid it? What can we do to stop the rate of our teen pregnancy?
I think it's something that's gonna start with kids from day one. Soon as she or he is in that hospital and they get their name in that first 5 minutes, we got to start regulating the kind of entertainment we expose our kids to. And are we exposing them to more of the negative entertainment than we are to educating and teaching them? If your kid can sit around and watch 2 Chainz and Rick Ross videos for 3 hours a day, but you sit down and maybe tell them something beneficial for 5 minutes a day, that's what's going to be more powerful in their mind. So if we start younger and start teaching them, these are the consequences of it. This is what really happens. Then I think they'll make smarter decisions, and then they'll be able to start seeing more examples of it if we live by what we're saying.
I believe in what you're saying. I believe that time is love. How would you teach your daughter or your son not to become a teen parent? What example would you set for them?
Well, for me, I've always been kind of an outspoken person. I'm quiet, but when I do speak, I'm gonna say what I mean.
Okay.
So I think instead of everybody beating around the bush and the birds and the bees, I think it's time for us to start sitting down and being real frank and saying, this is what it is and this is how it works and this is what happens.
Okay, at what age would you start that? Because you mentioned about we should start with the child as early as possible. What do you mean by early as possible? At what age do we start teaching our children?
As soon as that child can start communicating it on that level.
So should it be a lifestyle?
Yeah. And they watching your example. Okay. And if that child is 3 years old and they can understand the very minimums of whatever it is you're teaching them, tell it to them the most basic way. As they get to be 5 and 6, it'll get more detailed. By the time you're 16, you're saying it in full detail. So it's something you start conditioning and you keep it going.
I agree 100%. We're going to take a moment and go to a commercial break, and I will be back to continue this interview.
All right.
We're going to go ahead and continue. It looks like our commercial break has been postponed, which is a good thing. So how does education affect you as a teen parent?
I think that education for us as parents is important because it gives us something that a better opportunity to have something established, like I was mentioning earlier. If you don't have a good job where you can afford to take care of a kid, afford to pay a house note, afford to drive a car, and this don't have to be a BMW, but it have to be dependable, so you can get this child to daycare and stuff like that. So the education is important because without education, you can't get a job, you can't grow or progress, and even when you do hold it down a little bit, you'll be doggy paddling. You'll be stuck in the same place without that education. Maybe you were fortunate enough to get a job that could pay a entry fee amount of money, but you can't really progress from there. You can't move up and grow. So education is key.
What programs or lack of programs are available for our teen fathers?
I think there is an abundance of programs. I think we need to, some of the fathers need to realize that they are out there because they don't know. And two, we have to be a little more patient, and because sometimes we want to make the phone call, get that immediate answer, and everything's okay. And when it's not, you get frustrated, you're ready to give up. So we got to be able to, put in work and let the help you, because it's not going to be a miracle thing where, hey, I called Fatherhood Initiative on Wednesday, Friday I had a job, Monday I was back in love with my baby mama. It's all good. And that's never going to play out that way. So we got to have some patience and stick it out. And, really
one of the questions that one of my teen fathers said to me was, every time I break up with my baby's mama, I lose my daughter. Have you ever experienced anything like that?
Yeah. Me personally, my baby mother is she's a little more about the money. So I think my baby's mother, she's like a baby lot, almost like a car lot, where as long as I keep that note up, I can do whatever I want. Well, if that note slipped.
But you did use that word regardless, right?
Yeah.
So does that fit into that regardless thing you were talking about?
It still fits. Even though it's not fair, at the end of the day, you gotta do what you gotta do. And then after she gets old enough and she can have a car and all that other stuff, then I can continue to, worry less. But right now, I just gotta do what I gotta do. I can't call my daughter and tell her, just come on, drive on over here and visit me.
Well, let's talk about crime in teen fathers. Statistics have proven that most teen fathers are subjected to committing a crime rather than a child who waited to have a baby once they were married. How do you feel about that? Or is that something that you're dealing with? They talk about the behavioral, including alcohol and drug abuse and, depending on other people to take care of their responsibilities. Is that something that you've ever had to deal with, or is that something that you know of or can speak on?
Yeah, I think especially with the drug abuse and stuff like that and the crime, it's kind of course, because you have a mind condition that a lot of young fathers believe that everything is built against them. And so when you couple that with, I still don't have no money to pay for this, I'm still arguing with her, and I still haven't seen my child. Now you upset, so you either facing, am I gonna go out here and just rob somebody, or I'm getting drunk and I'm smoking every day to get away from the pain. Fortunately for me, I never slipped into the whole drug abuse thing or did times that would get me in no real trouble. But definitely the temptation and the mind state has definitely been there, so I can identify with it. And if somebody with a worse situation than mine, I could see that easily becoming a problem.
So does it become a desperate situation because they feel trapped, because you feel trapped in the situation of being a father?
Yeah, and that's what, that right there brings us back to the very beginning where I said most of our problem is ourself. Because your mind is what you can be trapped in. You may not be behind physical bars or restricted behind some physical lock, but if your mind has already built those bars up, then you're not going to go outside of that. If you already telling yourself, I can't go there, I can't accomplish it, I can't do it, you're not going to go to do it. So
Okay, let's just imagine that you're able to choose the child's mother, the perfect child's mother. Okay, let's just imagine.
Okay.
And she comes from this perfect family,
Right.
and she decides that she doesn't want to have anything to do with this child. What would you do as a teen father in that situation?
That is a tough question. That's tough because, again, I think that the mother and the father are just so key important. I would probably call her every other day and send her pictures of her child to make her think about, you got a beautiful child right here. You just gonna walk away? And I would try to keep communication and stuff like that. I mean, I guess you can't make nobody do nothing. I wouldn't go to jail putting a gun to her. Be a mother, be a father. But
Well, there's a reason I asked you that, because I'm dealing with a young man now whose child was put up for adoption, and he had no idea. And he's really devastated. He loves the child and would like to be with his daughter. How would you feel about something like that?
I don't know if I could conjure up the words to really describe it this fast. That situation is kind of, it's real but unimaginable at the same time. And I think that further just goes to state the poor condition that some of our thinking process and our actions and the condition that we in, because for her to what led her to make the decisions to do that. So the problem has started a long time ago.
Well, society has sort of put this image of African American teens as not being good fathers or wanting their children. And, to see a young man fighting for his child or just his rights to see his child, I think that we need to get that stigma off of us. And we need to talk about this while we have this opportunity on this show. When they put you in this box and they label you as not being a caring father or deadbeat dads because you're African American, have you ever been affected by that? Has this been an issue that you've had to deal with personally?
A lot. And what happens is, even though I may not care about what nobody in the world think about me, when you've convinced the mothers before they even have a child or know who their baby father is, that their baby father is a deadbeat, if you're going to sleep with this black dude, then you already fighting an uphill battle, so it affects us. Because I think that my baby mother was calling me a deadbeat dad before the daughter even got here. Like,
Wow.
It's like, that's what she wanted. That's what she expected. That's all she knew. So it's almost to me like I would imagine her telling my daughter, hey, don't fall in love with this guy because he's temporary. All of them leave. Don't get wrapped up in it. Because that's all she knew. So that is definitely a huge factor in it. And us not knowing how to deal with it, again, makes it even worse. So
How did your parents deal with the fact that you were going to become a teen dad? Were your parents there?
They did.
They didn't?
They didn't.
What do you mean?
Because they didn't. I just walked into this situation and I've been dealing with it the best way I knew.
So when you walked in the house and you said, "Mom or Dad, I'm going to be a father," what did they say to you?
Well, my father changed his locks when I was 16 years old. So all I've ever knew was in my own head. So I didn't really have anybody to just turn to for advice. It was just, what am I going to do?
I just want to grab you and hug you, because I hear that so often with our males, that they don't have the support they need from the family. And without the support of the family, who's directing you? Who's guiding you on how to be a father if you didn't have that example in your life?
No, and the thing about it, for me, I consider myself fortunate because I was raised in a religious, household. So I do believe in God strongly, and I will pray, and it does help. A lot of people don't. A lot of young men don't. They don't have that faith because they say, if God was here, I wouldn't be going through this. And I can't explain why you're going through it because I don't know. But that is up to God. And I do know that God is here and he does have our back. And one way that I can prove that to anybody in a short time is It's a billion different ways to die, and you're still alive. Something's protecting you. Just period. There's
That's
no
good.
way
That's
around
good
it.
advice coming from a young man to another. And I'm sure there are some young men out there listening to this. You mentioned that you had 2 examples in your entire lifetime of good fathers. Who are those people?
Well, I kind of looked to my dad a little bit because around the time that I was there, he definitely fed me and kept a roof there. But I think a part of being a teacher is even more important because I didn't care about Jordans or none of that. I never was that kind of kid. I had fun editing video game tapes and doing studio production. This is what I've always done my whole life. But he always kind of looked at it always as a financial thing. Like, even if I call him, it'll be more of a, I want to help you out. But, like, I never asked you to help me out. I just wanted to talk to you. The help I want is verbal.
Was he financially able to help you?
My dad is a baller. But
What do you mean baller?
He's got
Some
a
of
lot
our
of
audience
money.
might not understand what that is.
He's got a decent amount of money. He works a good job.
Okay.
And so does my mom. But it's just so not
Were you
financial.
raised in a two-parent household with both parents? No? Okay.
I grew up with my dad and my stepmom, but all 3 of my brothers, we all had the same mother and father. But me and my big brother were together, and my little brother was with my mom. So you can see the differences in us being who grew up with my dad and who grew up with my mom. But I also see where my younger brother lacked having a father, and I see where me and my bigger brother lacked having a mother.
Did any of your brothers become teen dads? Teen fathers?
Yeah. We went in order. My little brother is due to have a baby in a few
How old
months.
is he?
But he's not a teen dad, so no,
He's
he
not a
didn't
teen
make
dad?
teen dad.
Okay, good.
He's already 26, so
Okay.
25, so he's doing good. But me and my big brother, we did, and we made the worst decisions possible because we was only worried about getting it on instead of what is this woman really about. If I had took time to look at my baby mother and her situation and everything before it that led up to making her, it would have influenced my decision. I can't say that I would have left her alone, but I can say that the way we talked and the things that we did, I would have took a lot more time and thought into it. And maybe that could have changed, how it ended up playing out. It didn't have to go quite down the bad road it did.
Walk me through your everyday life. Who are you, this father? What do you do each day?
Every day I try to wake up every morning and I try to think about what it is I'm going to do to make it through the day. I put myself in some unfortunate situations that I have a little bit of a record. But I told myself I'm not going to get back out here and do no hustling or selling no drugs because that's only going to get me in a worse position. And I think day to day I just try to focus on doing something positive and getting something accomplished. I never try to let a whole 24 hours go past that I haven't got up and did something, even if it's for free. Because a lot of the times I've worked hard and bust my knuckles for free, but when I need the money, it's turned around and that situation that I created has ended up looking out for me. So
I asked that question because I wanted to hear what you did with your child during your day, and I didn't get that. Can you talk to me about how much time you spend with your child? Or is that even an option in your life?
It's really an option, but it's something that I'm gonna have to step out of the fair zone of what's fair and do something that's unfair.
Which
and
is?
go a little further and go through the processes in the yellow building downtown, and whatever I have to do, spend some extra money, take some extra time. And work on getting those rights together. And it may not end up having to go as far as court dates. Maybe we could do some mediation or something that can help. And we're going to have to step out of that zone and do that to help my situation.
I was just told that it's time to take a break. So, again, we're on Let's Talk Cleveland, sponsored by Romeo, and we're going to take a break. Thank you.
advantages for those with a credit score of 800 and below. Who wouldn't want better credit? Did you ever wonder how different life would be from just having a higher credit score? Are you tired of being turned down for any kind of loan or only offered high interest rates because your credit score is holding you prisoner? Life doesn't have to be that way anymore with access to TurnScore. By increasing your credit score only 50 to 100 points, it can potentially save you tens of thousands of dollars in interest over just a 5 to 10 year period. It can be the difference in getting approved for a personal loan, business loan, high limits on credit cards, a brand new car lease, or even a home mortgage. We see so many ads from companies that give us our credit score, but once we get our credit score, what are they going to do to actually repair your credit? Unfortunately, nothing. Until now, TurnScore is the first automated credit repair platform that is simple, safe, and secure. You'll be empowered right from the comfort of your own computer, so you can challenge and repair your credit report to ensure it's fair and accurate. TurnScore is specifically developed with you in mind. There's no more need for an attorney, credit repair companies, or credit counseling. More importantly, no more need for paying higher fees. TurnScore will help you get back on track and get the buying power you need. So whether you have bad credit, average credit, or even good credit, TurnScore is helping turn lives around one credit score at a time. Go to turnscore.com and enter the promo code MSC20 and get $20 off your purchase. That's TURNSCOR.com. TURNSCOR.com. Turnscore.com. Heard of the 7 deadly sins?
You are evil! Pure evil! Pure evil!
They're nothing compared to Uncensored Net Noise's 7th annual birthday bash.
But I gotta do this.
Friday, September 20th at the Rock City Tap House in Parma. Live on stage, it's Morality Check, Necros Obscura, The Burning Harlots, Darling Waste, and more for this amazing all-ages show.
Because of your words, I'm not ready to destroy.
All the details for the 7th annual Uncensored Net Noise Birthday Bash at MSCRadioNetwork.com. Looking for reliable and affordable Shoutcast audio or video hosting? JWN Media offers complete Shoutcast hosting solutions for business or personal use. All plans come with full listener stats, custom web scripts for implementing your service into your existing website, full server control, super fast network, and huge bandwidth limits, a 99.5% uptime guarantee, and friendly, knowledgeable support personnel dedicated to making your hosting experience fun and easy. With plans starting at only $3 a month, you have no excuse not to get a server of your own. Plus, with the option to add auto DJ and on-demand services, you can be confident your station will be all it can be. Custom plans are also available at their website. Simply visit jwnmedia.com and click the Shoutcast hosting link to get started right now. You're listening to Morning Show Central Radio Network. Hey, local bands and unsigned artists. What if I told you there was a place in Cleveland where you can get your merch made and have it sold in one location? What if I said you could bring your CDs and tickets to upcoming shows to this location? And what if I said you could do live acoustic sets at this location? I bet you're thinking there's no such place in Cleveland. Guess what? You'd be wrong. Contact Rick Navario at Rock City, Cleveland, and tell him you need merch made and you want to sell it in his store. Now, how cool is that? You can tell your fans to come down and get your stuff, and I think he'd ship your products to your fans. And he's local. Contact Rick Navario at Rock City, Cleveland today. 216-622-0377. That's 216-622-0377. If you have a product or service, let people know about it. Get your message out there and advertise on MSC Radio Network. It's easier than you think, and the whole planet is listening. Find out how you can advertise. Email Chris at morningshowcentral.com. Pete 99 Technologies. Affordable and reliable web hosting done right. Jumping from one web host to another can be frustrating. Finding a good web host can be unnerving for even the most experienced of web designers. That's why Uncensored Net Noise has chosen P99 Technologies as its web hosting supplier. Established in 1999, P99 Technologies has evolved into a first-class web hosting provider. Its 99.9% uptime rivals many in the industry. That's why they offer their 30-day guarantee, no questions asked. For more information, go to P99.com. P99 Technologies will help you get started with your web presence with honest and expert customer service. P99 Technologies. Affordable and reliable web hosting done right. If you're looking for the best in musical equipment, recording gear, sound reinforcement, and more, Guitar Center has you covered. Guitar Center, located at 26635 Brook Park Road in North Olmsted, has the tools of your trade with the largest selection of music and sound gear in the area. They cater to your musical needs and have the knowledge to help you out. Guitar Center in North Olmsted. MorningShowCentral.com uses them. You should too. Need to know more? Go to GuitarCenter.com. With hundreds of live weather products and layers and thousands of combinations, Weather Studio provides a professional graphics and store monitoring solution without complex user knowledge and without the industry standard price tag of $1,000 plus broadcast systems. Weather Studio displays a plethora of critical atmospheric and geophysical data on an interactive GIS-enabled computer map. Get your free 14-day trial of Weather Studio at their website, weatherstudio.paulmarv.com. That's weatherstudio.paulmarv.com. Lakewood Computer, located at 14035 Madison Avenue in Lakewood, has it all. If you're in need of computer repairs or want to cut the cost of ink cartridges and printing supplies, count on Lakewood Computer in Lakewood, Ohio to provide it all. For the past 5 years, Lakewood Computer has been providing you with a huge assortment of computer equipment and services at very competitive prices. Lakewood Computer purchases and sells pre-owned desktops, laptops, and related equipment, and they offer outstanding prices on aftermarket printing supplies, including toner cartridges and ink cartridges. With 29 years of professional experience, Lakewood Computer is highly confident in their ability to enhance your overall computing experience. Check them out online at joeslakewoodcomputer.com. That's joeslakewoodcomputer.com. Or give them a call toll-free, 855-580-0768. That's 855-580-0768.
I know. Oh my God, I know what we're gonna do. Oh, it's so delicious, I can almost taste it.
If you're looking for the best sub shop in town, look no further. Hanini Subs, located at 7310 Lorraine Avenue, is the place for you. Stop in for a cold cut sub, cheeseburger and fries, wingdings and fries, and so much more. I can almost taste it. Hanini Subs at 7310 Lorraine Avenue is open 24 hours a day. Check them out on Facebook, facebook.com/burrito crazy. And if you mention MSC Radio Network, you'll get $1 off your meal. It's all good at Hanini Subs.
So damn good.
User-friendly and ready to serve. MorningShowCentral.com. Call the show toll-free. 1-888-668-0742. You're listening to Morning Show Central Radio Network on MorningShowCentral.com.
Let your light shine, oh mankind. The light of truth will shine forth to the world, so those who are blind can see. Yes, if you love Jah, then keep His commandments. I'm telling you. Good shepherd, take care of his sheep. Remember you were called to a spiritual warfare, not against one another, but evil forces out there. So don't you ever take off your armor, just let your light it shine before men, that they may see Jah and glorify the Father in Zion. Just let your light it shine before men, that they may see Jah and glorify the Father in Zion. Yes. Now that you've become an helping hand for Jah, you got to be pure and clean. Yes. Don't allow your zeal for Jah to decrease by not doing His worthy deeds. Draw those around you to the healing stream. Open the windows of your heart and let righteousness come in. sent the words to kindly deeds. You show the world that Jah is real, and let your light it shine before men, that they may see Jah and glorify the Father in Zion. Just let your light it shine before men, that they may see Jah and glorify the Father in Zion. Yeah, oh yeah, boy, gotta show the world. The light of truth must shine forth to the world, so those who are blind can see. Yes. If you love Jah, then keep His commandments. Yes, I'm telling you, a good shepherd take care of his sheep. Remember, you are called to a spiritual warfare, not against one another, but evil forces out there.
Oh, great. Not another Farmville request. Check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/Morning Show Central. Denying one Farmville request at a time.
Good afternoon and welcome back to Let's Talk Cleveland, brought to you by Romeo. The beautiful sound you were just listening to is by no other than the great artist Milton Blake. People need Jah. He'll be on in just a few moments, but right now we're back to our teen parents. Welcome, Chris from BBC Promotions. How are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
Honored to have you here on the show. We're talking about our teen parents, and you, of course, we're a teen parent. What were some of the challenges you faced as being a teen parent?
Well, growing up and the way that I grew up, being a teen parent, I wanted to do more. You know, I wanted to be more successful, bring up my child in a better environment than what I had. So it was finishing school, going to college, trying to make that extra step to make a better life for my daughter. And that was one of the biggest struggles, that where it started, when I realized that, okay, I'm about to be a teen parent.
Let's talk about the environment you grew up in. How often was it that you saw teen parents in your personal life?
Actually, I became a parent at 18, and that's when I became pregnant, and I saw younger parents around me. So it was literally, every day I dealt with parents that were very young.
Any immediate in your household?
Yes. My sister, she was a younger teen parent, which I call her my baby mama. And she was a younger teen parent, and it was definitely different to see that, by her being so humble and so quiet. But at the same time, mothering came so easy to her, because she just loved to, and with mama by her side, it helped her out a lot, because she knew what to do from what mama would do for her.
The reason I ask that is because statistics have proven that girls are more likely, who came from a teen mom, to become teen mothers. Is that a factor that you've experienced in your life?
Not exactly, because when I speak on mama is actually my aunt, and she took all of her nieces and nephews in, and she kind of raised us all as brother and sister. So
you were raised by your aunt, not your natural mom.
Right. I was raised by my mother too.
Okay.
But my aunt took us in, after, certain things happened in between us. So my mother was actually 27 when she had me. And I was the youngest of all her children, because she was done having children after my third brother. And then she was like, okay, this is it. I'm not having any more children. And she had a procedure done. And then 8 years later, here I come along. So I was meant to be here.
That's another show.
That's another show. I was meant to be here. But when growing up, like, it didn't actually happen because my mother was a teen mother, but it did happen. It did happen in our neighborhood. It was actually common.
Okay. What are some of the challenges you face personally being a single parent?
Being a single parent, it's definitely a challenge within itself. You have to, understand where you're going, where you're coming from, and where you're headed, and actually lead your child in that way. Like he was saying earlier, it becomes a balance. It should be natural, like a habit that you give into your children as far as learning yourself.
Can you elaborate on a specific challenge, the toughest challenge you had to face as a teen mom?
As a teen mom or a younger mother, I made the decision to allow my daughter to be with mama and my baby mama, which is my sister. They took her to school because I worked 2 jobs, and they made sure she got to school. She, had great meals, was in bed on time or whatever. Actually, mama helped me to be a better mother because I love the mother that she was. And by me working all the time, I missed out on a lot of my daughter, like a lot of her first, and that was definitely a challenge for me. Also, I don't think I gave her the connection of a mother that she actually needed because I thought I was doing the best thing for her, with them. I needed to make money and pay bills and get the things that she needed and wanted. So I figured that it was better that she be with them, in her upbringing. I don't think that I had a strong background at first as for a mother. Not that my mother didn't do the best that she could, but at the same time, I do feel like I wanted to have that strength to face the challenges that were still upcoming to me, as a mother. Like, oh my goodness, like your daughter, I got a daughter. I have to make sure she's safe. I have to protect her. I have to make sure she's in line. She, I don't want her to be fast, but at the same time, I don't want her to be so closed in. She's afraid of the world. I want to make sure she knows how to present herself as a woman, but at the same time, be more assertive than aggressive. And I had a very aggressive demeanor, and I didn't want her to become who I was. I wanted her to be able to let me go to school, let me go to college, let me become this woman and have a career where I didn't have to work 3 and 4 jobs, and try to make
your daughter to be better than you.
Definitely.
Okay, and most parents feel that way.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's natural. Let me ask you something. How important is it for both parents to be in a child's life?
I think it's very important. To me, and I always say this, and a lot of mothers get mad at me, but to me, it takes a man to raise a woman, and it takes a woman to raise a man. A father is definitely needed in a son's life, don't get me wrong, because it's manly things that he can put in, but to me, a woman knows what she wants in a man. So you put that into your son. And at the same time, a daughter needs her father because she needs that strength. Like, you got to love me like my father loved me. You have to be there for me like my father was there. You have to give me the strength, the ability, the knowledge that my father gave me. So, and that's why a lot of young girls are getting pregnant very young, if they don't have their fathers in their life. I do believe some might have their fathers, but because they're looking for father figures. You see a lot of young girls are pregnant by older guys, and it's a lot of that around in my community because they're looking for father figures that wasn't there for them. And that's why it's important for a mom and a dad to be there. Now if you just have a child and you're there and all the things going on, that's some other stuff.
Is that that balance you were talking about?
Yes, I think
that keeps that equal balance. You would agree, right, AJ? That's what you were saying as well.
Mm-hmm.
That it has to balance. And
it
both
definitely
parents
has
bring
to
in
balance.
that part. How many living examples did you see in your lifetime of a good father?
I seen of a good father, honestly, maybe four.
Four.
Maybe four.
In your entire lifetime. And do you mind me asking your age now?
I'm 35.
So in 35 years, you've seen 4 examples of a good father.
Yes.
That's saying a lot. That's something that we definitely need to work on. How many productive women have you seen in your lifetime?
Oh,
Moms.
productive moms. I think it's over 1,000. I've come across so many great moms. It actually it saddens me. And let me go back to the question of great dads. Honestly, I've seen a lot of fathers step up in the last few years. To then I've seen in a long time. I was at the clinic, and it was every father was in there bringing their children to the clinic for their new shots coming up for the season.
Are we
or whatever.
talking about teen fathers, or are we just talking
They
about
were
overall?
teen fathers, they were older fathers or whatever. So I don't know them, but for the fathers that I know, it's not many, but I know some strong fathers right now. And to the effect of that question, in my lifetime, it might be more than 4, but to see fathers step up as much as they're doing now, and I don't think it's because of child support or anything like that. Fathers have been wanting to be in life. It's just harder to, for men to accept things that come so naturally to some women. Motherhood comes natural to most women. And I think it's just harder for them to accept. And when a lot of fathers, like, if you my baby daddy, when you gonna do what I want you to do.
Is that like that old saying, mama's baby, daddy's maybe?
Yeah. They don't tell me what to do. I think it'd be most fathers push back because men don't like to be forced into anything because they feel they're the power. So once they're forced, that's what make a lot of men fall back. Would you agree?
I don't want to lose
Right.
our focus on.
But the single parent, as far as a single parent, it's a lot of fathers that I'm seeing lately that are single parents.
Okay. Now, statistics have proven that single parents are most likely to end up in prison. Can you talk about why statistics have proven that to be a known fact?
Single
in today's
parents?
society, that a teen parent.
Yes, actually, I can relate to it more than other people. We live by any means necessary. If you're a strong, serious parent, I'm going to do what I have to do to make ends meet.
But then does that contradict what we're saying as far as our primary need is first is safety, roof over your head? So if you're taking this, if you're taking this chance, this desperate approach, this risk, then those needs can be taken away immediately from the child.
Definitely, that is true. But in your mind, your protection of your child, and if you're a strong parent and you're a strong-minded person, which I try to be at most of my life, you try to make sure, like, okay, my protection part is here, but my protection is to make sure my child eat, because if this child doesn't eat, I'm not protecting her. If the roof is taken from us, our water is cut off, I'm not protecting her. So I'm a single parent. If I have to get out here and I have to do this thing to get my rent paid or my lights to stay on, this is how I'm protecting my child. And most people are not as fortunate as me. I had my daughter's grandmother. I had mama. I had my sister. I had...
Talk to that teen mom, that 16-year-old out there who's sitting there with no milk and doesn't know how she's even going to get to the store if she had to do something desperate. How are you going to tell her how to eat without doing it in an illegal way?
Honestly, I think most people lose focus as this is what we got to do, like what you're saying. Don't go out and do anything illegal. There are other ways to get things done.
Absolutely.
Don't lose your head. And it comes naturally. I have done it, but I try to walk people away from that. So to you, young mom, if you are out there and you're not making it, yes, the system sometimes might not be there for you. The system might sometimes feel like it has failed you, but we all have certain talents within ourselves that will get us to where we need to be. So single mom, if there's something that you need to do, you need your rent paid, your baby need Pampers or whatever, get out the illegal thinking of what
Get rid
needs
of that
to be done.
stinking thinking.
Get rid of the stinking thinking. Get rid of the aggressive thoughts of I can't make it, or I have to. As a mom, if you sit down and really think, what is my talent? What can I do next? Hit every website that you possibly can that are offering jobs. Go to, show your face. Go down there, sit, call them. Don't wait. I filled out an application, but they didn't call me back. You call them. Be assertive. You get up and go to stores, the grocery store, ask to clean up, go to restaurants. Can I wash your dishes? I'll wash your dishes for $50 every night. I heard when I was younger, as a single woman, what you're sitting on is worth $1 million. Well, guess what? What you have in your head, that's priceless. So if you use what's in your mind, use your mouth, use your heart, and do what you have to do as a single parent legally, you can get things done. It's $50 for washing somebody's dishes. I don't like to wash my own dishes. Well, guess what? That $50 can get you some Pampers, some milk, and a bread and bologna if need to be. So one thing I'm telling you is, it's ways to get things done, but just use your head and pray.
Not to interrupt you, but we got to go to break here. It's how we pay our bills. So give us just one moment,
Definitely
and we'll come back on that
bills.
great advice that you're giving to our girls. We're speaking to you live from Talk Radio Cleveland, sponsored by Romeo. We'll be right back.
Heard of the 7 deadly sins?
You are evil! Pure evil! Pure evil!
They're nothing compared to Uncensored Net Noise's 7th annual birthday bash.
But I gotta do this.
Friday, September 20th at the Rock City Tap House in Parma. Live on stage, it's Morality Check, Necros Obscura, The Burning Harlots, Darling Waste, and more for this amazing all-ages show.
Because of your words, I'm now ready to destroy.
All the details for the 7th annual Uncensored Net Noise Birthday Bash at mscradionetwork.com.
Good afternoon and welcome back to Let's Talk Cleveland, brought to you by Romeo. I'm your host for the day, Nancy Johnson, and we're going to continue our talk about our teen parents, because we're not just coming to you with our problems. We actually have solutions and we have ways to help you. Next Sunday we'll be giving you your resources that are readily available. Right now I'd like to introduce again Miss Chris from BBC Promotions, who is going to bring on that wonderful artist that you heard the music a little earlier today. I'm going to turn it over to Miss Chris now, and I'd love to hear a little bit more about your artist and what you do.
Okay, hi everybody. I'm back, of course, like she said, Miss BBC Promotions. One of my solutions is I became a promoter to help with some of my struggles, and also it's to help other people and help get events out in different ways. I actually started this when I was 13 years old. Right now, I'm working with Mr. Milton Blake, and we're promoting the release of his new CD, People Needs Ja. And I just want to introduce Mr. Blake because he's so inspirational. He's so full of life, and he gives so much inspiration to the world. So, Mr. Blake, would you tell us more about your CD, please?
Yeah, well, first and foremost, I must say, give thanks and praise to the Most High Jah, Rastafari. Without him, we wouldn't be here today. And give thanks for this network, MSC Radio Network. And give thanks for the host. Give thanks to my brother here. Nice reasoning, my brother. Topic really, uplifting.
Welcome.
And give thanks for the Empress, Chris, from the BBC production. Well, right now, I have my album, which is a debut album called People Need Ja. And just the topic alone can tell you that in this time and age that we're living in, we see the lacking of the roots of our people. They're differing from the trend of the Almighty. So That's why the topic come along named People Need Jah. And this album, we're going to present it and have the launching of it on October the 12th at the Agora Theater right here in Cleveland. So I want the people to all come out and support this worthy cause and get the message, because it is the message. And this album, you can have this album, take this album, put it in your disc. Don't think about it. Don't think about your children. I've gathered all the children around and have them listening to this album. Because I always say, like, I'm a preacher through my music. So it's gospel reggae.
Right.
So listen to this.
And it's definitely gospel reggae. If you a single parent, pay attention. Let's talk Cleveland. When they say let's talk Cleveland, let's talk. Talk to your children. Talk to your teenagers. I talk to my daughter. We have an open relationship. We all have to talk to each other. She told me she had children. I could not believe it. This woman is beautiful. I'm like, what? I have one child. Like, what is going on here? But the openness, that, like she said, we need to have openness with our children.
Yes.
Get your children. Listen to the music. Kids hear things through music.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, it's reggae. Everyone loves reggae. It's music for the soul, but at the same time, it's giving the word. So thank you, Romeo, for allowing us to come on. Let's talk Cleveland.
Right.
Actually,
Yes.
he's going on a roll leaving right now. So I'm going to turn it back over to our host, Miss Nancy.
Thanks.
And thank you, everybody, for watching.
I am excited and I'm privileged to be here with Milton Blake, who is also a teen parent, and he's actually setting a great example for our fathers, our future fathers. Miss Chris, again, AJ, always. I can't wait till next week when we finish this up. Again, Let's Talk Radio Cleveland, brought to you by Romeo. Have a wonderful day. I'm your hostess with the mostest, Nancy Johnson.
Chaga.
See that? All the funerals, the niggas ain't gonna be back. His mama heard the news and felt like she lost a kneecap.